some of them, what they're trying to do with Assad right now, using a proxy army to do it. So they're an empire in that they control everything. Now, they have the other two superpowers that they have to worry about, but they have a certain amount of control, and that is really what their empire is. And I mean, we talked about this last Thursday about the study that the U.S. is an oligarchy, meaning the elite pretty much run everything. So this elite basically has their, they want their elite empire, and they want to be a superpower that controls what goes on in the world for the most part. And for them to do something, it's okay. If another country does it, it's not. That's the same thing, too. It's like having that superpower, quote unquote, superpower status gives them that eliteness, even as a country. And being an elite country and saying, well, we're an elite country, so if we want to go into your country and invade you or fucking bomb you or drone bomb you or kill citizens or whatever, what other countries can do that stuff and get away with it? So it kind of all goes together. And like I said, they're not a traditional empire, but they are what I would call an empire. And in what we've been talking about, I mean, if the US dollar is no longer the reserve currency and OPEC, all these other countries start selling oil and stop buying from OPEC, or, even decrease the amount that they buy from OPEC, it's going to reduce or affect the economy of the empire, and the empire may crash. Or the other thing is starting a war. And it seems like it's in the U.S.'s interest to start a war, and that may be where they're using ISIS as well to set up a war, possibly a world war. Essentially, they seem to be at war as it is. I mean, there's definitely a war going on. It's hard to say how is this a war traditionally, because usually it used to be a country against a country, a government against a government, where now I guess ISIS considers themselves their Islamic State, but they don't really have the land. They have some land in a couple countries. So I don't know exactly how that works. And so you kind of have a war going on here, and you have the beginnings of the development of a world war. I mean, right now you have Iran, you have Russia, you have China, you have Syria, and I believe in Lebanon, Hezbollah is an ally of Iran as well, based on their sect. I don't know which sect is which, the Sunni and the Shiites. And then you have Saudi Arabia, who's responsible for a lot of stuff, but has pretty much been protected by the United States because of OPEC and the oil and the economy. So that's where, too, that when you look at 9/11, it makes more sense them coming from Saudi Arabia, because it's like, okay, give us some people, from your, I don't know if they have a military or what they have over there, but give us some of your agents or your people that protect the princes or whatever, and so we can train them and have them pull this off. And maybe most of them didn't know that they were actually going to fucking die in the process. Of course, the pilots knew that was going to be the result, but nobody else knew. And that's the scary thing, is when you're dealing with people that aren't afraid to die, and even that kind of want to die because they feel like things are going to be better off in heaven. And I'm not a person who wants to die. I don't think things are going to be better off when I'm dead. I think when I'm dead, I'm just like dead. I don't think that anything happens when you die. I just think that you die. And that's it. But I'm not afraid to. And I don't know if that makes me dangerous, and that the people listening are going to put that on the list, like, oh, not afraid to die. I mean, but on the other side, I don't want to hurt other people. And this is where what they're doing, and again, I think a lot of at least the attacks in what happened in the U.S., what happened in France, what happened in England on the, what was it, like the bus or the train or whatnot, that those were events that were, or at least involved the government. Now, the terrorist attacks in all of these countries in the Middle East, I think all of those are, things that really go on. Oh, I also wanted to comment on, they mentioned the video. So now they have this video that they say, and speaking of, the U.S. being an empire, so they have a video with these two guys saying, the White House is next and all this shit, because I'm sure these guys are going to be able to get in the White House and, blow it up, right? And is this even real, or is it just two guys that made a fucking video and said, oh yeah, this is what we're going to do, which most likely I think that's probably what it is, to be honest, because I think even all those videos that ISIS was sending out was bullshit. It sounded like bullshit. You didn't see the person actually being having their throat cut. And I think there was a video where there was like fake blood or something, or they started to, and then they stopped the video, or the whole thing looked fake. And they need, I guess, better people in Hollywood to do those videos, because it seems like such bullshit. And it seems like the same stories repeated again and again, where the U.S. government isn't even original. And I think maybe that's another reason why I think they're very close to Hollywood. And you see a lot of these things in movies before they happen in reality. And they were just talking about, oh, well, you had the White House, you had a couple movies with the White House being attacked. And of course, more propaganda so people can, get that in their mind, like that White House Down movie. I think was that what it was called? White House Down? I know they had Black Hawk Down, so I don't know if I'm confusing part of the name with that, but fucking White House Down movie, okay. All I know is there's one, I think that was the one with Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum. And Channing Tatum's this Secret Service guy, I think, and he's out there saving Jamie Foxx, who said, the president is his Lord and Savior, Barack Obama. So it's just ridiculous. And there was another one. I can't remember the name of the other one, but I know there was the one with Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, and I saw some of it, and it looked like a terrible fucking movie. So, would they even stage something like that? And I don't mean stage like not actually do it, but have ISIS do something to the White House, and of course, the president not be there or something like that to show. I mean, because that's the ultimate martial law. If you look at what happened in France after those attacks, now they want to pass a bill that says essentially, because they're able to implement the definition of martial law, and they went through like 500 houses or something. It was ridiculous what they did in France after that, and how people had no rights, and they totally just did whatever they wanted. And now they want to pass a bill that they can do that for up to 3 months. Now, I'm not saying that, of course, the lives of the people that died, it's, terrible that anyone, dies, especially tragically in something like a terrorist attack, or, getting shot. And just it makes me just think of this too. Like, what about all the people that over the weekend that got shot by, gangs or by criminals or whatever? What is the difference? You don't hear about that as much, but if it's, something like, well, this was terrorism, so it's different than a gang just, I'm sure somebody got hit by a stray bullet over the weekend. I'm sure multiple people got hit by stray bullets over the weekend, kids, and died. But I guess that's a whole another show there. But in France, they basically, I think they were looking for these guys, and they just, the law over there is they can do whatever they want. They essentially activate this emergency, like the emergency system with the local news will be broadcasted after. If this wasn't a test, your local news, whatever. The emergency broadcast system. So their law essentially is, if they have an emergency, or if they deem it, I guess it's up to the president, which is pretty fucked up in itself, because Congress didn't get together and vote. It's the president, and they have all that shit. The same shit is here in executive orders, that the president can do that. They didn't do it in the Boston bombing via the president, but essentially they did it via the governor. They shut down Watertown. And that fucking